Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. So, typically, as I did not predict, I'm actually back before the new year with a new video. I wasn't sure if I was going to make one, but as it happens, I'm on the Christmas New Year break at the moment, and I've got some time between travel, and actually today I thought, you know what, I've got some time, so I might as well make another video before the new year. So, at the time of recording, Christmas has already passed. Hope everyone had a good day, and you're still enjoying the break. As for me, I'll be going away again very soon, so I thought this is a good opportunity to get a video in. And I know for ages I've been promising this update, but again, I'm not ready to deliver that one yet. So today I'm going to this is a quick interim one to keep the channel going, and it's talking about something I definitely do know. And actually, with the bands, most of the releases in today's video, I have spoken about them before. You'll notice that this video is called Black Metal Vinyl Volume 3. So with 4 of these 5 albums, I've already shown them on CDs, so there's no need for me to repeat myself excessively. So this is more like a show and tell with some of the albums, and I'll leave the links to my previous videos so you can actually hear a more detailed analysis of those albums if you're interested. So yeah, this is basically the next 5 black metal albums in my collection, all relatively well-known bands. And you'll remember in Black Metal Vinyl Volume 2, I was up to the black thrash band Cruel Force from Germany, so I finished talking about them. So today we're up to the Ds in the vinyl. So without further ado, I'll just get straight into it. Okay, first album I'm going to show today. This is Dark Funeral with Secrets of the Black Arts. So, as I've already mentioned, I actually made a Dark Funeral ranking discographies video a couple of months back. So in that video, I ranked all of the albums, and I talked about them in a lot of detail, so that's why I'm not going to right now. But you'll remember Dark Funeral, this one, Secrets of the Black Arts. This is their legendary debut album from 1996. In my ranking, I placed it 3rd, and actually, in terms of nostalgic value, it's probably one of my favorites, but there are just other albums I happen to like more musically. But yeah, this was the one with the original lineup, so Lord Araman on guitars, also Black Moon on guitars, Themgoroth on vocals and bass, and Equamanthorn on drums. Yeah, and this was sort of, a lot of people thought of this band at the time, I think, as like a bunch of Johnny-come-latelys, compared to, you know, a lot of the bands that were out in the early 90s, like Burzum, DARKTHRONE, and so on, and also Dark Funeral are, of course, from Sweden. I think they're very comparable to Marduk in a lot of ways, except I think Marduk and Dark Funeral distinctly have their own sounds, but this band is slightly similar in the sense that they're like often blasting very fast, and they have those hypnotic, chaotic kind of riffs. But yeah, definitely have their own style. Like maybe Marduk's more chaotic, and Dark Funeral's darker, perhaps. But yeah, great album here. So many great songs on this, but I've mentioned some of my favorites are Secrets of the Black Arts, My Dark Desires, The Dawn No More Rises, The Fire Eternal, and my absolute favorite being Blood Frozen, yeah, which was co-written with Black Moon. But yeah, honestly, no bad songs on this album, apart from, for me, I don't really like, as I mentioned, the Von cover of Satanic Blood, but that's just me. But apart from that, a great album, just stellar Swedish black metal, blasting, but they have some groovy mid-pace parts as well. Yeah, so great. Now this one, you'll see, it's double vinyl, A, B, C, and D, because they actually have the final cut, which was recorded in Abyss Studios with Peter Tagtren, and they also include the Unisound recording, which was the one that they scrapped because they thought the production was bad. That's the one they produced with Dan Swano. Listening to those recordings, there are some parts where it actually sounds like darker and heavier, and I think, oh, that's pretty cool. But in other ways, the Unisound version, it's very sort of chaotic, and there's some parts with the drumming where it's like, it's like, is that... It sounds even out of time, but yeah, anyway, the final product with Peter Tagtren was much better, but the Unisound version, it's interesting to have that copy just as something a little bit different, you know. So I'll show you the album. So it comes in a gatefold like this, so it's got all of the lyrics and liner notes, so talking about the history of the album. Yeah, written by a journalist actually, but talking about the history of the album, so a lot of sort of trivial information that you may not have known. And just show you the vinyl itself. So it's plain black vinyl. So you see here, it's labeled shot of the band there, and also the Dark Funeral logo. So this is the Abyss Studios version, and then the Unisound version, also plain black vinyl. I think the design is the same. I'll just have a look. Oh no, actually, I'll show you this one. So again, different shot of the band, and then, yeah, band logo on side D. But yeah, excellent album. Like, this is essential Swedish black metal. And yeah, like I said, it's my third favorite Dark Funeral album. But if you haven't heard this album, what rock have you been living under? Check it out, it's really good. So Dark Funeral with Secrets of the Black Arts. Okay, and just might as well show you. You'll see that I tried to put this up on my wall. Yeah, also comes with this massive poster. I'm not going to unfold it now. But yeah, this is a square one, so I'm not sure if I can frame it. But look that artwork by Necrolord, just brilliant. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so up next, we've got the album which followed Secrets of the Black Arts. This is Dark Funeral with Vobiscum Satanas. So again, I've already spoken about this album too. This album was the one where the lineup changed. So Themgoroth was replaced by Emperor Magus Caligula, otherwise known as Massive Bromberg, on bass and vocals. And also a completely new lineup. So the only original member was Lord Ahriman, and then it was Typhos on guitars and Alzazmon. And those two members only stayed for this album, interestingly. But yeah, this is the one which saw the band moving in a more sort of a symphonic direction. Like, even though Dark Funeral has never used keyboards, they sort of created this symphonic atmosphere. The way the guitars were, it sounded like a synth in the background, but it actually wasn't. They were just doing that with the guitar melodies. But yeah, more sort of grandiose than the previous album, I think. And I really do like this one. As I've mentioned though, this ranks as my fourth favorite album by Dark Funeral, so a bit lower than Secrets of the Black Arts. My only complaint with this album really is the production. Like, it sounds a bit dry and washed out. Like, I'd like to hear more bass in this. I think the mix could have been slightly better, but like, Peter obviously does a good job. Like I said, you can hear those symphonic sounds and everything, but it's just got this weird dry kind of production, which I think could have been filled out a little bit. But yeah, excellent album. Like, 8 tracks on this, none are bad, but as I mentioned before, my favorites are sort of the odd tracks plus one. So Ravenous Strigoi Morti, Thy Legions Come, Slava Satan is probably my favorite, and also, what was it? Ineffable King of Darkness. Yeah, but then some of those other ones which didn't grab me immediately, they have more sort of texture and complexity, which I still like, are Enriched by Evil and Evil Prevail. Yeah, so no bad tracks on this album whatsoever, definitely worth checking out. Pretty cool cover art as well. Now this one, it's not a gatefold, it's just a plain one. Oh, it's got some promo thing in there. Yeah. But yeah, it does come with this like collage and liner notes, so history of the band once again for this particular album, and also all of the lyrics here on the insert, and a shot of the new lineup. Okay, and something else to show you. I'll just show you the vinyl itself because it's quite interesting. And yeah, this one, I'm a fan of coloured vinyl, so this one comes on this nice, what'd you say, dark blue? Yeah, but yeah, very cool. I do enjoy coloured vinyl, so, and this one suits the cover art as well. Yeah, so basically, as I mentioned, this is Dark Funeral going in a more sort of grandiose symphonic direction with great results, definitely worth checking out. Dark Funeral with Vobiscum Satanas from 1998. Up next, we have the next album in the Dark Funeral discography, the legendary Diabolis Interium. Absolutely brilliant album, masterpiece. And if you saw my Dark Funeral ranking video, you'll know that this is actually ranked as my second favorite in Dark Funeral's discography. It used to be my favorite, absolute favorite, until Where Shadows Forever Reign came out. So I know I'm probably giving away a bit about my ranking, but that video gives a lot of detail. But this album is just absolutely marvelous. Like, slight change in lineup again, so it came out after Vobiscum Satanas, so it's still Caligula and Ahriman in the band, but then a guy called Dominion joined on guitars, and Matti Mordin, formerly of Defleshed, the Human Machine Gun, on drums. Like, this album is just awesome, like incredibly fast, like furious and fast black metal, but so much dark atmosphere, and it's very hypnotic, and just brilliant songwriting. Like, you see how this band is just like evolving and developing their songwriting and musical skills. Like, on this album they really shone so much. And yeah, like I said, the production on Vobiscum Satanas was a bit dry, washed out, disappointing. This one, it's excellent. Like, you can hear the bass really well, you can hear everything, and yeah, just so many good songs. Like, there are 8 tracks on this, literally none are bad. So this sort, like, let's see, Goddess of Sodomy, that was the first slow song that the band ever played, so they were just experimenting with, you know, different sounds and approaches. And I know a lot of narrow-minded people said, oh, if a band releases a slow song, they're selling out. Fucking please. No, they're not. They're just doing something different. And that song's actually very good anyway, like heavy and dark, and then it sort of started a tradition with other songs in that vein, like Atrium, Regina, and so on. But yeah, awesome songs on this. But my absolute favorites, let's cut to the chase. The opening track, The Arrival of Satan's Empire, just brutal, blasting, crushing. It's amazing. Also, Thus I Have Spoken, Armageddon Finally Comes is another firestormer, absolutely brilliant, and Heart of Ice, so haunting and evil at the end. But all 8 tracks are absolutely brilliant. It's funny, when I did the ranking, one of my commenters ranked this one as their least favorite or second last, but it just goes to show we're all different. This is actually my second favorite, in my opinion, definitely worth checking out. Now I'll just show you the inside here. Really nice gatefold once again. So you've got liner notes, lyrics, and a picture of the current lineup. Sorry about that light glare there. Yeah. And this is the highlight. So here we go. It comes on this really nice, rich gold vinyl. And you see they have each label, shows a band member. So you've got Dominion there and Ahriman there. And it actually, this one's a double vinyl again, because they also include the EP from the year 2000, which had the single from this record, which was An Apprentice of Satan, plus 4 covers. So, yes, I've talked about this album in my rankings before, but I've never talked about those songs. So, just show you the second disc here. So you've got Caligula. I really like that design in the rope as well. And Matty Mordin. And as you see, it's kind of this marbleized gold. So very cool, sort of reflecting the richness of this album. All right. But, yeah, I've described this album in the rankings, so I won't do that again. But one thing I haven't described are these cover songs. So from that 2000 EP, so you've got An Apprentice of Satan from the album, that's a song varied in tempo. It's fast and furious, but they also have some slow parts, even though I do feel that song trails on a bit. But then you've got 4 covers here, so 4 covers by 4 different bands. I felt that some of these cover choices, I mean, in my humble opinion, were a little bit cliched, but there's none really bad, except, yeah, they've got a cover of Remember the Fallen by Sodom, which is pretty good. They've got a cover of Pagan Fears by Mayhem, and that's very good, except Caligula sort of imitates Attila's voice, you know, that sort of like gargled voice. So like, I don't know, I think sometimes when a band does a cover, it's better to do their own take on it instead of copying the original, but still a very good cover. Now, the only cover I don't like on this is Dead Skin Mask. I'll be by Slayer, of course. Now, I'll be honest with you, with the original song, Dead Skin Mask, I've never really been a big fan, and I saw it in Jürgen's video about 10 terrible songs from killer albums. He chose Dead Skin Mask, and I sort of went, thank you. Like, when I say that, I don't think it's a terrible song, but I've never particularly liked that song. And just with a black metal band covering it, I don't know, it just didn't sit right for me. I didn't find it very convincing. It doesn't, like, the original never grabbed me, but this version doesn't. However, the cover which totally kicks ass and blows me away on this is The Trial, originally done by King Diamond. Like, they include all of those, like, intricate guitar solos and the high-pitched vocals. I think they got a female vocalist to do this. In fact, they did, yeah, except those parts, they're so true to the original, and it just creates this very heavily Scandinavian, Danish atmosphere. You know, King Diamond being a Danish band. It's hard to explain, but it's just like immersed in Scandinavian atmosphere with that song. So really like that. And actually they have 3 bonus tracks as well, live in South America. So Hail Murder, Thus I Have Spoken, and Armageddon Finally Comes. But yeah, this is an absolute mammoth album, and it's really nice to have this one and the EP all on one double album. So yeah, definitely recommend it. This is my second favorite Dark Funeral album. Check it out. So Dark Funeral with Diabolis Interium. Okay. Now, coming up, so with the Dark Funeral albums, also in Vobiscum Satanas, I forgot to mention there were some bonus live tracks as well of them playing live in Sweden. So yeah, these vinyl versions often have bonus live tracks, which is cool. Yeah, so the next band I'm going to talk about, this is the only vinyl I own by them. I've also done a ranking discographies of their 90s albums. So the band I'm talking about is DARKTHRONE. Again, I will leave a link to that video where I've ranked the 90s DARKTHRONE albums, but this is the one that I decided to get on vinyl as my favorite DARKTHRONE album. This is Under a Funeral Moon. So absolutely legendary album. It's my favorite with good reason, just because I think it's the coldest and the grimmest and the most evil and sinister sounding, and there's just so much atmosphere on this album. So I won't bore people with the story about the first time I ever heard this album. You can watch that in the ranking discographies video, but I remember when I first heard this when I was 16 years old, it blew me away and left a very striking impression on me. It just sounded so cold, ugly, grim and evil, and yeah, it's always had a close place in my heart. Love the presentation on the back here. Yep, all 8 tracks are great. Some of my favorites would be Summer of the Diabolical Holocaust, The Dance of Eternal Shadows, To Walk the Infernal Fields, and Under a Funeral Moon. Also, Crossing the Triangle of Flames has that really like sinister, eerie outro, like with the banging of the gong and everything. It sounds like pure witchery or something, but yeah, just so much atmosphere on this, and like so many hypnotic riffs, brilliant rocking guitar solos. It's just magic. So again, I'm not going to describe this in detail because I have in that CD video. You can check a detailed analysis there if you like, but I'm sure most of you know this album anyway. So, this version I got, again, came on a gatefold, so all of the lyrics nice and big, clear and readable. And what have we got here? Yes, just a nice insert with the Tarkeferd design and the 3 band members, which is cool. And I think there was actually something else. Oh yes. So, just show you, there's the actual jacket, the Tarkeferd design again, and some liner notes which I'll read because they're quite interesting. Plain black vinyl, of course, just with the same label on each side. And yeah, this has got some, well, not liner notes, but a little statement by Nocturno Culto. And being a huge fan of this album, with it being my favorite, it was really interesting to read this, so I'll just read it to you. So he said, we were now a trio, which was Nocturno Culto, Fenris, and Zephyrus, and enjoyed a very good time of DARKTHRONE. Blacker than ever, maybe, we entered the same studio as we used for Ablaze, Creative Studios. This time we knew precisely what we were after in this production. Zephyrus now was the only guitar player, and I handled the bass. This is also the only DARKTHRONE album with 1 recorded guitar track. And yes, we got the cold minimalist sound we wanted. The engineer from this time was also ultra pro, but he had no limitations at all for our wishes. Fenris used only 1 tom, the floor tom, and he asked for a very powerful and special sound on that one, and he got it in spades. Yeah, so just on that note, you hear the floor tom on that. It sounds like a pounding bass drum, like an orchestral drum. It's massive. The engineer even had to be calmed down by us, since he had absolutely no limits. We definitely felt on top of our production. A really good time. This was recorded midsummer, very hot for us northerners. Not Nocturno Culto 2010. So it's interesting that this album was recorded in summer. You can't imagine it considering how cold it is. But then again, they do have the track Summer of the Diabolical Holocaust. But yes, legendary album, no words needed. You can check my more detailed description in the CD video, or just go and listen to it. Under a Funeral Moon, legendary. All right. Okay, so coming to the last album of today, another well-known band. This one is probably the odd one out in comparison to the bands that you've just heard. So DARKTHRONE, obviously from Norway. Now we're going to another Norwegian band. This one, you know, a lot of people might say, oh, commercial, sellout. Just have an open mind. For me, what matters is the music. This is DIMMU BORGIR with Godless Savage Garden. Okay, so I've left a disclaimer about nudity and explicit cover-up, but I'm sure people aren't that sensitive. But yeah, so this band needs no introduction. Famous to even people who don't really like that underground metal, honestly, because they're one of the most successful black metal bands in the world. They sort of, I think, rose to fame through good songwriting, good production. It's that bombastic symphonic black metal, like I think definitely inspired by bands like Emperor, but they took it in a slightly different direction. So full credit to them, and they've enjoyed a very successful career. I'm not one of those elitist people who says that all bands should just stay in a basement and never make money. Like, this band had grandiose ambitions, and it's up to them. Like, what ultimately matters is the music, and I think that for the first few albums at least, like, the music is absolutely brilliant. So this band divides a lot of black metal fans, and I do understand. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of this band, but I do appreciate what they're doing. But sort of after the album Enthroned Darkness Triumphant, you know, around that, or maybe the one after that, it started, for me, sounding maybe a bit too polished, and the drums were too triggered and everything. But I still appreciate their talent, like even up to the latest album. But anyway, with this album, a friend of my brother's once left the CD at our house, and at the time, this is when I was much younger, like 20, I did have an attitude that this band was sort of a sellout band, so I wasn't really interested in listening to them. But then the CD was there, and I put it on a few times, and like sort of by default, by accident, I kept hearing it more and more, and I grew to appreciate it, and it has nostalgic value to me now. But obviously the music is great as well, like just symphonic, atmospheric black metal with a lot of keyboards, and fantastic, big, epic production, like it's in an open hall, soaring for the heights. Brilliant stuff, like you can hear everything clearly, but it's still organic enough, it's not triggered yet, like it would be on later releases, like the drumming and everything. But yeah, really good album, well, EP, sorry, because there's 5 originals and 1 cover, so yeah, all of the originals are good. Like, I do like Moonchild Domain, the opening track, also Chaos Without Prophecy, that's very catchy with the interplay with the keyboards and the vocals. But my absolute favorite songs on this album, and I apologize for my pronunciation because I'm not Norwegian, but Hundekongen Sorgsvart Ferd over Steppene, that's track 2, like just some great, grandiose, atmospheric keyboard lines in that song, and rocking, chugging riff as well, which is great. But my absolute #1 song on this EP, and probably my favorite Dimmu Borgir song of all time, Rabion Speiler Draugenheimen Skoda. So that's track 4, again, sorry about my pronunciation, but just like the keyboards are just so deep, rich and atmospheric, and it's haunting, it's enchanting, it's brilliant. I love that song. So my favorite Dimmu Borgir song of all time, Rabion Speiler Draugenheimen Skoda. Now, the bonus track, they do a cover of Accept Metal Heart, and it's quite funny. At the age I heard this, 21, I had never heard Accept before, so the first time I heard Metal Heart, it was actually the Dimmu Borgir version. I thought, oh, this is really cool, but at the time, you know, I didn't know who actually did the original. But then years later, like about 10 years later, I became a massive Accept fan. But it was like Dimmu Borgir introduced me to Accept. Now, this also has some bonus live tracks, so Stormblast, not Blast, because I'm trying to do the Norwegian pronunciation, Master of Disharmony, In Death's Embrace, Spellbound by the Devil, and Morning Palace. All of those live versions are so cool. Like, the production is crystal clear, you can hear everything. It's like, I don't know, opera recording quality. Like, imagine, you know, those classical CDs you buy, like, of an opera performance. That's how clear the sound is. It's brilliant, and very theatrical performances from the band and the way they're talking to the audience, like poisoning the chalice of blood and everything. But yeah, really cool. Now, just show you the disc, or the vinyl. So, yep, so you've got the Naked Women label here, and then the Enthroned Woman on the front here. Just plain black vinyl. And just show you what else. So, nice gatefold here, so showing the portraits of the band. The lyrics again, which are nice and readable. And here, again, disclaimer, if you don't like gory artwork or nakedness, look away. But yeah, charming photo of the band. I think they're taking inspiration from Cradle of Filth here. Maybe, that's my guess. And this is the grand surprise, if you like. It comes in this like little pop-up book thing, so I haven't managed to straighten it, but you see here, they actually include a bonus CD version of the same EP, so that's really cool. Yeah, so I'll need to straighten that out, but there we go. Looks much nicer. Yeah. But yeah, as I said, This band, they're a bit hit and miss for me, but their earlier stuff up to and including this one, I really like. It was sort of like post-2000s where I lost interest a bit, but still a very good band and very talented, and I think their fame is well-deserved. Yeah, and what is my favourite album by this band? I have to admit my favourite is For All Tid, which is the debut. That's a lot more sort of medieval and raw sounding, but just great atmosphere. But this is a very good one to start with if you haven't heard it. But yeah, definitely worth checking out. And don't worry about what elitists say. Like, I think ultimately it comes down to how the music sounds to you. So yeah, I would say this would be a good introduction to the band if for some reason you've never heard them, because it's only a 5-track EP, but very good polished symphonic black metal. DIMMU BORGIR with Godless Savage Garden. Okay guys, so that's it, believe it or not. So just 5 records in my vinyl collection, so 5 black metal vinyl records. As I said, with Dark Funeral and DARKTHRONE, I've already given rankings of those albums, talking about the CD versions in previous videos, so I'll leave the links below if you'd like to hear a more detailed analysis. Today I sort of just brushed over them a bit, at least in my opinion, but maybe it's enough for you. But yeah, that's it. So this is a little interim video, something I know, like all of these albums I know like the back of my hand, so I could just rattle that off today. But with the collection update, I just need a bit more time, so that will probably be the first video of the new year. So on that note, enjoy the rest of your Christmas/New Year break if you are on holidays. I hope you enjoy the New Year's celebrations and have a safe and enjoyable time. All the best to a new year. So let's hope that 2022 is a lot better than 2021. Surely it can't get worse, but we'll see. On that note, fuck COVID. But everyone, please stay safe, enjoy the rest of your holidays, and I'll talk to you soon in the new year. Cheers.